So, you guys remember us talking about this, the Amish man who was selling the herbal salves and things like that? Well, he was facing like 56 years of prison. They gave him 6 years. He went to trial. It's horrible. Representative Thomas Massey actually shared this. I'm hoping he can do something about it. You know, we could write our congressman. We could write Donald Trump. We could ask Donald Trump to pardon him. I think that would be awesome. So I don't think this is the end. We should still hope for the guy.
So I think you should be more loud, just so, because this obviously it's not close enough. So you're gonna have to do your loud, Leah, so that it's loud enough. And let's make sure that they can still hear the.
Sam Girod, and we all know Sam Girod and his family.
Oh, I wonder if they can't hear it.
An apology, and from the bottom of my heart to all the Girods.
Can you hear the TV?
On behalf of the United States of America, we the people.
Yes.
I apologize to you from the bottom of my heart. This should not be happening to your father and your brother and your son and your grandfather. God bless Sam Girod.
Sam Girod is an Amish man who makes natural products that people use, and some have some medicinal benefits that he has discovered, and his customers agree. His customers have found the same thing and use his products for their benefit, and that has angered federal officials, and so they have swooped in and done, you know, as they have the power to do. They've thrown him in jail. In the larger sense, we are brothers. You know, all we want to do is be free in America, to do as we choose when we're not harming anyone. You know, if there were actual victims in this case, then certainly federal intervention would make sense.
I want you to read the ingredients: rosemary,
beeswax,
olive oil,
peppermint,
chickweed,
eucalyptus,
lavender,
comfrey.
And that is
he's
why
being
he's
put in jail for 65.
No. 6 years.
6 years. Oh, good. They lessened it.
But still 6 years.
But I know that's still really bad. But they kept saying it was going to be upwards of 65 years.
Yeah, well,
6 years is still unacceptable.
Do you know, like, rapists and child molesters get less time? Terrorists get less time in prison.
Yes.
But there are no victims. There's
no
only
victims.
benefits.
And
There's
that's
only
the thing that
nobody complained.
Exactly.
Nobody was harmed.
Right.
There's no victims. There's no drugs.
You can't put somebody in jail when there's not a victim.
And there's no crime.
Mutual benefit in this case, and so interrupting that free exchange of ideas, of information, of products and services, and throwing someone in jail and making him pay huge fines is just absurd.
Absurd.
So I'm going to read to you a little bit more of the details on this. An Amish man was sentenced Friday, this was last Friday, to 6 years in prison for obstructing a federal agency and for making and selling herbal health products that were not adequately labeled as required by federal law. Sam Girod of Bath County, a member of the Old Order Amish faith, you want to take her outside? Or put her upstairs?
Oh, we didn't do dinner yet. Keep talking.
Was convicted in March on 13 charges, including threatening a person in an attempt to stop him from providing information to a grand jury. U.S. District Judge Danny Reeves repeatedly asked Girod in court if he wished to make a statement, but Girod refused. Girod, who represented himself, does not acknowledge that the court has jurisdiction. I do not waive my immunity to this court, Girod told the judge. I do not consent. Girod has become a cause for some who see him as a victim of the federal government. More than 27,000 people have signed an online petition seeking to have him released from jail. About 75 supporters of Girod, including many Amish, gathered near the federal courthouse on Barr Street in downtown Lexington before and after the sentencing. We still have a country where people still come together to help each other, said Emmanuel Shabalak, 27, an Amish man from Logan County. As assistant U.S. attorneys left the courthouse after the sentencing, Girods supporters jeered them. "Shame on you," shouted one supporter. One non-Amish supporter, Richard Mack of Arizona, said after the sentencing that this is a national disgrace and an outrage. He is being punished for being stubborn. Mack, a former Arizona sheriff and political activist, said he and others will ask President Donald Trump to issue a pardon for Girod. I think I might write my own little letter. Mack said...
I'm writing Trump, and y'all should too.
To him too.
Yeah.
Mack said he has used Girod's Chickweed salve with no ill effect. Girod operated a business in Bath County that made products to be used for skin disorders, sinus infections, and cancer. One product called Two More Gone contained an extract of bloodroot that had a caustic corrosive effect on human skin. According to an indictment, however, no one was injured. No one ever said it had a caustic corrosive effect, right? A federal court in Missouri had barred Girod from distributing the products until he met certain conditions, including letting the U.S. Food and Drug Administration inspect his business. But when 2 agents tried to inspect the plant in November 2013, Girod and others blocked them and made them leave, the indictment charged. Federal prosecutors said in a sentencing memorandum that Girod knowingly and intentionally sold misbranded products to customers and did not tell any of them about the injunction. At trial, customers testified that they would not have purchased his products if they had known about the injunction. Girod argued that his products weren't subject to federal... They went looking for a few people, right? They always do. Subject to Federal Drug Administration oversight because they were herbal remedies, not drugs. He also argued that requiring FDA approval of his products infringed on his religious freedom. Old Order Amish seek to insulate themselves from the modern world, including modern pharmaceuticals, he said. Federal jurors rejected Girod's defense, convicting him of conspiring to impede federal officers, and obstructing a proceeding before a federal agency, failing to register with the FDA as required, tampering with a witness, failing to appear before a hearing, and distributing misbranded drugs. It sounds like such a criminal. In the matter of the Two More Gone, the jury decided that the product label didn't have adequate warnings against its use in cases when it would be dangerous, and that it would endanger health when used in the dose and manner suggested on the package. So what I'm thinking is this is more along the lines of when you put things for like children, like don't put the children in the plastic bag.
Yeah, don't put a bag on there. Have you guys have all seen those? They're not even memes. They're real. Parents that take pictures of different child products of the warning labels, and you think to yourself, there is no way that ever needed to be necessary, that anyone would ever do that with their child.
I mean, you could put a smoke bomb in your hand and it would have a caustic effect. Does it have... I'm sure that they are required to have warnings. Do not let off in your hand. Do not... These are idiot warnings.
Right.
You know, we can't protect people from being idiots, seriously. In documents filed June 19th, Girod argued that the charges in the indictment do not apply to me. I am not a creation of state government. As such, I am not within its jurisdiction, Girod wrote. He added later, the proceedings of the United States District Court cannot be applied within the jurisdiction of the state of Kentucky. Girod's supporters outside the courthouse said his case is an example of overreach by the federal government. They purposefully seek these people out.
Mm-hmm.
They
to make an example of them.
Out people who have herbal remedies and things like that. Things that have been remedies for, you know, we don't know for how long.
The beginning of time.
But I'm sure these Amish people have been using this remedy for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And they've been using it for probably the same, you know, for tumor gone or taking skin cancer off.
Because they're not going to always go and seek out doctors. Most
right.
of the time, they're going to try to take care of the problem themselves. And so they have found things that work for them, such
right.
as our Amish swear by cod liver oil for their teeth. And guess what? It really does work. It's just nasty. It is not good stuff, and I don't want to take it.
The lemon tastes good, actually. You didn't try the lemon.
I didn't. I'm not brave.
Okay. He said, I don't need the FDA to protect me from an Amish farmer, read a sign held by T.J. Roberts, a Transylvanian University student from Boone County. I feel what happened here is an example of judges making the law, Roberts said. What the FDA did here is an example of executive overreach in which they are choosing what Americans can put in or are on their own bodies. I struggle to find where the victim is in this and where the crime was committed, but Judge Reeves said Girod brought the trouble on himself because he steadfastly refused to follow the law. To Girod, Reeves said, you refuse to follow anyone but yourself. And then I'm going to play this spokesperson for defending. This is Reverend Alan Hoyle, a spokesperson for a group of Amish people from Bath County.
We're at the capital of Kentucky, so we're here to redress our grievances according to the Declaration of Independence.
We're here because a family man, an Amish man who has been jailed with going against the Constitution. He has no bond. He's been declared that he's guilty for growing natural herbs that's of health benefits. And this, make sure we're not talking about marijuana, but
just
it's
regular
used for
old-fashioned
salve and all
herbs.
this, where the federal government has come in, U.S. Marshals with machine guns against the family members, against young children who are terrorized. They're having nightmares and things of that nature. And I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps of 23 years, and I swore an oath to defend the Constitution, which represents the people, against all domestic enemies. And our government now has become a domestic enemy to the people when they can come in and terrorize women and children, arrest people with no authority, no jurisdiction, and without the right to do so when they have not a violent criminal.
When they're not a violent criminal. And, you know, whether you agree with how the Amish man handled this or not, we had somebody on our YouTube say that they knew the family and that Girod wanted to handle it himself. He didn't want to get an attorney.
And I don't think he
wanted
did
to
he, in
represent
the end?
himself. And I can understand that he was trying to go before God, and he knew that under God he hadn't done anything wrong. He hadn't broken any laws. He hadn't broken any laws of God or nature's God, that's for sure. And so he decided to represent himself. And he's Amish. And you have to realize the Amish, you know, they think differently. That's why they set themselves apart.
Right.
And they follow the law, right, to the best of their abilities. And, you know, this is one of those cases where you see the total mindset of our government and how messed up it is. Because
I'm going to try this. El Chavez says that she's having a little bit of trouble. If I lower this, perhaps it'll get it a little bit closer.
That's interesting.
Well, let's try that.
So, anyways, this is, I mean, 6 years, you guys. Seriously, I would think probation, maybe, or a slap on the wrist or something.
Right.
You know, something along the lines. I mean, I just know, like, child molesters get less time than that. I mean,
here's the thing.
The punishment is not even worthy to the crime when there is no crime.
We need to address why this is happening, because I think that a lot of, like, why would the federal government do this? What's the purpose behind it? It all goes back to the big lobbyists. We have to realize that big pharma is our enemy, okay? The medical industry, by and large, is our enemy. Why? Because they are in cahoots with people like Monsanto, processed foods, fluoride in the water, all of these things to make us sick, to keep us dependent upon them. And if you can find a natural remedy outside of what they can make money on, they will shut you down. I know it sounds like a bad movie. I know it sounds implausible, but it is 100% true.
And there's more to this case because it escalated. He had it labeled that it would heal cancer, and then he was told to change the name, so he changed it to 2 more gone.
Right.
And then he changed it again, and he was told he couldn't put the pamphlets describing what it did near it.
Right.
So in one store, he put pamphlets on the other side of the store, and he sold the salve on one side of the store, so people had to go get the pamphlet. Right. And it you know, if you have something that works for, and here's the thing, and this kind of goes back to the vitamin C thing with cancer. When you say the word cancer, you're not allowed to say that you have a cure or something that helps it,
right?
Unless it has gone through the rigors of the FDA and the CDC and all kinds of craziness and all the natural remedies that could work to stem small skin cancers,
right?
Or because that's what this is obviously for.
Here's the thing, and you guys probably already know this, but in case we have some viewers that do not, there are things that we can do in our diet by buying organic grass-fed beef and chicken and pork, by eating no processed foods, non-GMOs, organics, get the fluoride out of your water. All of these things can help prevent cancer, okay? Because everything the opposite of that is causing cancer. So if they really wanted people to not get cancer, that would be blasted and preached everywhere. We all remember the food pyramid that is always kind of constantly
and they tell
updated.
you to eat like 9 to 12 grains a day or something like that.
And the grains are all Monsanto filled, right? With GMOs and Roundup and things that cause cancer. It is a known fact that by eating the way I just described, you can pretty much stem off cancer. Some people are going to have it genetically, but a lot of people don't have a genetic disposition for cancer. It's just from diet.
Well, and not even just diet. It's from chemicals and the things we put on, products that we put on.
Yes, okay, I'm sorry. I should have expounded, of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
Well, I mean, microwave and things.
The CDL or CD, what are the light bulbs called? CFLs? The CFL light bulbs. When we were at the Red Pill Expo, they did an excellent speech on the smart meter out on the side of your house. Did we film that?
I think so.
Dang, I hope
then
if we
the
didn't.
airplanes getting not just going through the x-ray machines, but been on the airplanes, there's radiation, and it's been proven that people who fly more are more predisposed to have cancers. And so if they really cared about people and cancer,
they would help you understand all of these things and realize that, listen, these are the risks that you're taking. But it is
birth control. Preconceives you. Birth control is connected to breast cancer.
Yep.
And that would make sense for estrogen reasons and hormonal changes in you, causing certain tumors and stuff to grow. So pretty much everybody who has breast cancer has been on some sort of hormonal birth control. So so these are things.
Point is, the fact that they're not giving you these simple solutions proves the fact.
Well, if they told everybody to get off birth control, it would just,
Yeah, well, they can't do that because we have Agenda 21. We got to depopulate the entire world.
So instead, they have to put fear in you somehow. So they say raw milk is bad for you.
Right.
You must be vaccinated.
Things like raw milk and raw butter, especially grass-fed butter and grass-fed raw milk, actually will help you cure cancer.
People who write natural health books have to be really careful. If they say anything that the cure, especially around cancer.
Right.
That's the big thing for people.
Well, and that's why if you guys didn't see the video that I made the other day, it was when we were going live last week, that we had been talking about this sort of thing, and Horatio just wanted to make sure that nobody was going to go and do like the vitamin C treatment without seeking further advice and things like that. So I kind of...
Or make that your only thing and then you just die.
You guys have to do your own research. I promised him that I would throw that in there. You have to do your own research, but it starts by just that kind of red pill of, whoa, wait a minute, we're kind of going about this all the wrong way.
Okay, yeah. So we could talk about this forever, but I'm going to write a little letter to Donald Trump, and maybe he can get this guy off. It's not fair. It's wrong.
No, it is not fair.
I was cold.